Good afternoon, Mediumship 102 course. I'm looking forward to this letting go of our past with Master Jesus activity today. This coupled with the one that comes later on in the week should prove to be some form of relief for you in relationship to errant emotions or unregulated emotions that just keep coming up and learning how to let them go. As the first week was about being in the present moment, because only from the present moment that you can begin to release yourself from attachment to what was before and what is now. Hello, Susie. I'm just going to wait a few minutes for everybody to come on board, and we're going to get right into the meat of this. Wonderful. Lydia? Hello, Irina. Wonderful. Yeah. So letting go of the past is a very important step in being able to totally actualize your potential in the life that you have right now. You cannot get anything new from what you already know. You can only get permutations and combinations of what you've already experienced from what you already know. To truly connect with and begin to engage new energy, new opportunity, and a more divine life is first learning to be in the present moment, and then learning and understanding how to actually let go of those things from your past that inhibit you from doing the things that you know you should be doing, like not drinking coffee or not drinking alcohol or not smoking cigarettes or eating high vibrational foods. You want to understand what habits and behaviors you have that don't support who you are, because you can't release them if you're stuck in them. So today's going to be about releasing yourself from those past emotional energies that are connected to those things. Because remember, in order to have a behavior, there has to be an emotion. You cannot have a behavior without some emotion behind it. That's why little babies, when they're first born, there's very little activity. There's very little activity. Very little activity because there's very little emotion in the system. Only the emotion that child acquired through its senses while it was in the womb. But all of us have certain emotions from our past, and those emotions are responsible for 95 to 99% of all of our behavior until you begin to move, trying to reconnect. So as you begin to step into the present moment, as you begin to step away from what you remember, one of the things that begins to happen is you move into the process of creation as opposed to living from your past. And the process of creation means that you can select and choose, hello Bonnie, you can select and choose whatever it is you wish to experience in your life, create a vision for it, and then create emotions that support that vision. Because remember, all events in your life, all actions you will perform have to have an emotion connected to them. If there's no emotion connected to a thought, a behavior cannot occur. If it's just a thought, it's just a thought. But if it's a thought with an emotion, it has impact on terms of what's going to do with your nervous system. Your nervous system reacts to emotional energy. It's what we bring through from spirit. Emotional energy, emotion, which is energy in motion. Always, always, always energy emotions. So remember, if you've got bad habits and behavioral patterns, emotions, pains in your body that are carryovers from your past, the key is to begin to first release the emotion from it, learning how to let go of old emotions, and then to move into a creative process which is letting go of the old emotion is forgiveness. Moving into the creative process is the connecting to those higher vibrational ideas and feelings. How would you feel as a non-smoker? How would you feel as a non-drinker? How would you feel being in a high vibrational state? Because feelings are always precisely matched in the environment. Everything in your world right now is an exact replica of the dominant emotions you hold consciously and unconsciously in your system. Your capacity to deliberately and intentionally let go of those old emotions and formulate connections and attachments to new emotions liberates you from your past. you let go of your past. The minute you turn your attention away from it, you've let go. And the word forgiveness literally means to let go of. To let go of. And you have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that more than once. When I quit smoking many years ago, there was a process I went through where I had to deliberately keep choosing, and then connecting to how good my body felt, being able to breathe more, how good my body felt running up the stairs. I could run, a half mile, a quarter mile, and then a full mile again. You begin to build then your focus onto those things that sustain the new life, the new experience, the new expression you want to have as your dynamic life. So the meditation today is going to be essentially about getting you to that place where you are able to deliberately and intentionally let go of any past emotion. And you can use this meditation anytime during the rest of this week, and there'll be a second one to reinforce it. I don't know why they've chosen to do this, but they've chosen this process, and I don't question it anymore. It's just you get to a place where you trust the team that you're working with, because you know them, you feel them, and what better voice to listen to than the voice of love and compassion and kindness and patience. And it's a beautiful thing to follow those kinds of energies, as opposed to criticism and condemnation and self-doubt and all that stuff. You don't need any of that stuff anymore. None of us really do. So the other thing we're going to do today too is the meditation is going to be about 20 minutes. And then after the meditation, I want to bring a couple of you guys on. And if there's anything that that's really holding on to you, that's got you kind of stuck in a pattern that you've been trying to break for a long time, I'd like you to come forward and share that with us, and we'll walk you through a process for letting that go, literally shifting the energy in your body and in your mind so that you're not able to hold on to that pattern the same way as before. Because once you're able to let it go, once it doesn't get your attention anymore, it starts to die off. Not only does it die off energetically, but literally in the brain begins to reorganize itself, because that pattern is no longer getting emotional energy. Those neurons begin to prune apart, and they begin to reform onto the new idea that you start to replace the old idea with. I hope, also I wanted to mention, I hope some of you have taken advantage of Chico's 102 Sun Food Living course, because you cannot underestimate the value of putting living food in your body. They've had me for now 2 weeks. I've been drinking a whole fresh squeezed lime in every glass of water now for close to 2 weeks, and it's for a process they say that's coming up in another month. So I have no idea what that's going to be about, but you start to feel the difference in your energy when you start to put the right things in your body. You start to feel different. It might take a few days, but if you want to get a really good boost, take 5-pound bag of carrots and juice that right up. I mean, get it, if you got a juice extractor like a Jacqueline Juice, we have one of those as well. We also have a Vitamix, and we have a Ninja, we have a few things that we use. But if you can get a juice extractor and you can juice 5 pounds of carrots, right? Make sure you're not really hungry, make sure you're not very full, and then take that 5 pounds of now juiced carrots, and drink it right away. Just drink it right away, and then watch what happens. Watch what happens in your body. You'll feel the vital energy, the life energy that will come from those carrots alone. Now, we do our greens drinks in the morning, and again, you get more vitality from living organisms being put in the body than you do from dead and decaying or processed organisms. They have a completely different result. But I don't want to get into that too much, but I do want to say I hope some of you are availing yourself of Chico's Sun Food Living program, because you cannot underestimate the power of a live, living diet, and a raw diet, or as much raw as you can get into. It will literally bring your energy up. And Master Jesus taught that for many years. Before he started his teaching, he taught living food. He was trained very highly. And he says continually, life force, life. You want to put more life in your body. You want to get anything out of it that's not alive, and only put in that which is live. He also talked about water and the need for drinking lots and lots of fluid. He's also spoken about getting in contact with the earth. He used to have his students literally immerse themselves in mud, and just literally sit in the mud and let what he called He called them the four angels: the angel of earth, the angel of air, the angel of water, and the angel of fire. And so he would have his students actually sit in the sun for an extended period of time to let the energy from the sun burn away from anything from the system that didn't belong. And then have them they'd use gourds and they'd do enemas with water and drink lots of water. And that was the angel of water. And then they would do the angel of air, where they'd just be out and feeling the air, just breathing the air, feeling the air. So using the breath, right? And then the angel of earth, which is immersing themselves literally into the physical earth. They literally immerse themselves in mud. And sometimes in clay, because clay can also pull things out of the system. Bentonite's a really good thing to consume too, to pull stuff out of your intestinal system. But he taught that to all the students for many years, to clean this temple. He says if the temple is not clean, who would want to come in and worship, right? And when we're into channeling and mediumship, it's really important that your temple be clean, because you'll bring in beings that are clear and focused and high vibrational, versus if it's polluted, you can bring in low vibrational energies. And I know people who have done that, who start to get into this work and they haven't cleaned up the temple, they haven't done the necessary preliminary steps to get their body clean, their mind focused, and the net result is they draw in lower vibrational entities, right? Which are as equal in number as are the positive ones. It's just that where are you going to align yourself on that scale? And it starts off with this temple. This is the temple of the living God, the living I am, that is you and I and all that is. And so it's important to make certain that this temple is in good spirit, right? Good spirit. Okay, we're going to take some questions. We're going to take some questions right now about the concept of forgiveness and letting go of the past. How to actually, what are some of the things you want to let go of that you've been stuck? I would like you to consider some of those things. What are some things that you want to let go of? Because you're going to have an opportunity during the meditation to let something go. That might be big for you, it might not be big for you, but something that you've been wanting to let go of, whether it's smoking or drinking or bad eating habits or not exercising enough. But choose something, maybe it's a conflicted relationship. You're angry at your mom for something she did 20 years ago, or you're concerned about a job opportunity. The goal of this is to get the emotional charge that's connected to the real-time event and to literally let it go from your system. So please think of a few things that you want to let go of, one or two things at least, and we'll get to those through the meditation. But we're going to take some questions right now. That's a great question, Bonnie. What if you don't know what emotions you are holding on to? Well, look around in your world. If you've got problems in your world, and you're seeing conflict, and you find yourself having to deal with problematic people or problematic situations, then you've got emotions that are connected to those. And whatever those emotions are, if it's annoyance or frustration or anxiety, whatever the emotion is you got connected to external events, those are the emotions that are maintaining those events as functional realities in your earth paradigm, the one you're existing in that form that you find yourself listening to these words in. So it's important to understand how to release those emotions and to identify them. I've had a similar version of that. I said, well, I don't feel anything. And I said, well, what's bothering you in your life right now? And they'll tell me about this person, that event. And I said, and what are the feelings around that? And they'll go, oh, it really annoys me, it really pisses me off, or makes me feel sad. And I said, so that's the emotion. So if you're not aware of an emotion, you've either cleared it out, or you've got unconscious emotions that you need an external trigger for or an internal trigger for, right? And that's why we have you going out using those concepts of an external trigger. What things trigger irritation or upset or fear or anxiety or guilt or shame? What external triggers are out there that do that for you? What internal triggers do you have going on? What sort of things do you habitually think about that create fear, guilt, shame, uncertainty, doubt? Those are the things you want to clear out. You want to remove the emotional charge, and you want to remove the trigger, right? And the trigger is, next week will be helping you to create a whole new feeling blueprint that will cap this 3 weeks off, where you actually get a chance to deliberately and intentionally generate a high vibrational feeling that you believe will represent the life you want to experience. And we'll get into that next week. And I think that's going to be Metatron next week, from my understanding. I'm just checking to see if there's any other questions or comments. Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'm glad that Facebook has all the glitches fixed for us, which is wonderful. So I think, Master Jesus is saying, do not waste your precious life. Do not waste your precious life. It only comes around as you know it once. What do you mean by that? The form in which you find yourself is unique in all of the creation, and therefore you cannot experience the experience of this creation ever again. He's saying, but you can take forth from this all that which you have learned, and all that which you have not learned will go with you in a new experience until eventually you no longer need those, for you will have resolved these things, these earthly considerations, and enable yourself to move to higher estates of being and consciousness. He's saying, yes, you can. I'm asking what he means by higher frequencies of consciousness. He's saying love is a higher frequency of consciousness. But he says, what you call love on your plane may be relative to a higher plane, a very fearful state. He said, you will be a new babe again when you leave this realm. He says, you will be a new babe again. You will have acquired knowledge and experience, but you will still have to start at a new level. So get as much done as you can in this lifetime. Clear the temple up. Clear this temple up. Clear the system. Restore yourself to love and to grace. Restore yourself to the creation, the creating, the utilization of God's love in your creative expression. What we call energy, he says, what we call energy is the stuff we use to create experience here. And I call it emotion, energy and motion. He says the two aren't any different. The same thing, emotion and energy are one and the same thing. Just a movement of energy, either in a positive spectrum or a negative spectrum. He says, know not that, many of you know not that by holding on to those things that you have become so attached to that no longer serve you, you hold on to a stone in the ocean of your life. But if you release them, you will float gracefully upward to the surface, where you can breathe the air of God. What's that an allegory for? He says the air of God is what you would call love, your highest experience of frequency feeling, of being able to be as you truly are, as best you can in this form, in this realm. But be willing to surrender that which no longer serves you. For if you do not, you will still have to surrender it at some point anyway. He said, nobody's got a choice in that matter. He says, eventually the pain we go through forces us to let go. And sometimes we don't know how to let go until we're shown how to do that. And he says, hopefully these 2 days will give you the opportunity to get a feeling sensation. He's saying, it's important that you feel it here in your whole body. It is equally important that you are aware that you can feel this change that happens when you release yourself from any emotional state that does not serve you. Cool. That's a great concern. He's laughing right now. He said, children are the know-it-alls of the human kingdom until they get experience and they realize they don't know it all. He's saying, take heart, for if you understand that your daughter's resistance to doing these things is because of her own fear, then you can address her from the perspective of compassion as opposed to control. For compassion acknowledges that that individual is struggling with something that you may not even be aware they are struggling with. But from my perspective, anyone who is struggling with learning anything new is usually facing fears or not facing fears. I would recommend compassion and understanding at your daughter's predicament in not fully understanding that which she's trying to learn. He says, with children, the fear of failure is much stronger than it is with adults who get into set patterns of living, and therefore their fears are known fears, so they never really feel the need to change them because they're used to them. I love that. That's cool. Okay. So I hope we're all ready for this, because he's saying to me right now, it's important to drink some water and to make certain that you have nothing restricting you physically. Make certain that you don't have tight things on your body. They should be relaxed and loose. It is important you become very aware of your breathing should feel free. And you need to be very present. He says, I don't want anybody thinking about anything other than what we're doing. Experiencing the moment together with me is all that needs to occur at this time. For we are working together now for a common goal. And the impact of this is far beyond the scope of what you see and hear at this moment. Okay. He's something about the head. He's saying, put your head aside and listen with your heart. For there are some of you that like to figure it out, and while this has its place, that place is not right now. You can figure it all out later. Be willing to allow yourself to experience that which you can experience and must experience in order to know what you need to know to understand this concept of letting go of your past. That step in and of itself is crucial for your being able to liberate yourself further with the creative use of your mind and imagination. With the creative use of your mind and imagination. He's saying he'll go into more detail about what he means by the creative use of your mind and imagination next Thursday. He says, but keep that in mind. It's a very important consideration. The creative use of our mind and imagination. Very fascinating. But in order to do that, we have to learn how to let go of the past emotions, conscious ones or unconscious ones. And you can always tell when you're dealing with an unconscious emotion is because you're going, why did that happen? The minute you find yourself asking, why did this happen? Or why is this happening to me? Or why did that happen to them? There is unconscious emotional energy at play. And you're scratching your head going, why? Because you're not privy to the subconscious cause, but you are privy to the effect. He's saying to me now, he's saying, know this, know ye that by the fruits you shall know that which is in your life. I'm understanding this to mean by what you observe with your senses, that is that which is good and that which is not good. Those are the forebearers of the emotional states that you are dominantly holding on to. So I'm understanding that to mean, so if I see something going on around me that upsets me, well, I'm upset. That thing makes me upset. But the upset is the thing, is what's inside me that's allowing that to occur. Is that correct? Yes. You're saying that cause has an effect. And it is important you understand that correlation. It will be very easy for you to identify the unconscious elements that you have been unable to shrug off because you have not identified them as the external effects in your life, which they are. All of your emotions are expressing in your life right now. Whether it is whether it is with your money, or whether it is with your family, or whether it is with your children. All your emotion is conscious or unconscious, but it was always available to you to be seen and observed deliberately and intentionally. Yeah, okay. So I hope you picked a couple of things that you want to let go of. I'm just gonna, okay. So let's get ourselves comfortable. I hope everybody's had a bit of water and you're physically comfortable. So let's take a slow, deep breath now. And I'm just gonna let him begin to walk us through this now. And as you exhale, release the tension from your body. Give your entire body permission to relax. Breathe deeply. Fill your lungs completely. And as you exhale, let your entire body relax. Take a moment to allow the muscles in your face to relax. Give the muscles in your neck permission to relax. Breathe deeply. And as you exhale, let all the tension out of your shoulders, chest, and back. Breathe deeply. And as you exhale, release all the tension from your stomach, pelvis, and legs. Let all those muscles relax. And breathe deeply again. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension out through the soles of your feet. And now become aware of the space that your body occupies. Just let your awareness sense the space that your body occupies. And to your body, I want you to think these words. I am willing to love you, even if I do not understand you. I'm willing to love you because that is my true nature. Feel how your body responded to those words. Now breathe your awareness up into the middle of your head. And just feel the space in the middle of your head. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel the space in your head more. Feel the energy in the space in your head. Just feel that space. Very gently, just make this sound to that space. Now sense or call forth an emotion that you wish to let go of, that no longer serves you. Whether that emotion is fear or anger, guilt or shame, just call it forth. Notice, if you can, the things in your material world that this emotion is connected to. The people, the events, the places. Just notice what that emotion is connected to. Notice how you feel observing that emotion and what is connected to it. Now draw in a slow, deep breath. Hold your breath. Now sensing that emotion and the events, as you exhale, imagine you're exhaling that completely out of and away from your body and out of your life. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel it dissipate. Like steam just dissipating. Take another deep breath. And exhale it even further away. Feel the events going with it. Now scan your body and feel the difference in your body. And notice where that difference is most pronounced. The place where you remove that emotion from. Feel that space there now. Now call forth an emotion that is the positive opposite of that old emotion. And imagine you can breathe this positive emotion into your body now. And as you exhale, flood your entire body with this new feeling. Love or joy. Patience. Peacefulness. Breathe deeply again and expand this new feeling even more into the body, like you're compacting the body with this new feeling. And as you exhale, expand that feeling around your body. Let it fill and expand. Fill the body and expand around it. Fill the body and expand around it. Now take a moment to make a decision that any time you are made aware of that old emotion, that you will turn your attention to this new emotional energy instead. Make a conscious decision to do that. If it's the desire for smoking, then turn your attention to the joy of not smoking. Breathe deeply. And as you exhale, let the body relax fully and completely again. Feel the vibration around the body. Feel how it is different now than it was before you started. Think upon the word love. Feel the vibration of the word love. Feel how the cells in your body respond to the word love. Allow that vibration to permeate every molecule in your body. Now imagine that your love is expanding to fill the entire room in which your body currently rests. Fill it with your awareness of love. Remember the vibration of this feeling. remember the vibration, this feeling in every molecule of your body and in the space around your body. Breathe deeply. Love is what you are. Remember its vibration in your body, so that anything unlike it, when it comes up, you'll be aware of it. And you can take your attention off that and place it back on this vibration of love. Giving love the opportunity to work on your behalf in your world. It is through your attention that it will grow. It is through your attention that all things are possible. It is through your attention that you will come to know how to create that which you are here to create. Place your hands over your heart. Feel the vibration of love beating your heart. Feel that vibration radiating into and through every molecule of your body. Feel the energy. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And very gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. Well, bring that vibration of love back into your body with you, into this present time and space. Breathe it in. Now, in order to make a decision about what you want to experience in any given moment, how to release that which was and replace it with that which is, for love is what we are. It is not something we have to seek. It is something that we are. But we must remember that. Anytime something comes up in your awareness that doesn't feel like love is something you need to let go of. And this simple two-step process will make it a lot easier for you whenever you recognize those emotions, even the desire to do something you don't want to do anymore. To take a breath, breathe that energy of love back in your body and literally exhale the old emotion aside. That desire, that fear, whatever emotion is connected to those events in your world. Be willing to breathe and release, to completely release that old emotion, and then reconnect to the new emotion of love. And it's going to sound a little counterintuitive to some of you, because we are so caught up with thinking that we have to try and fix the problem out there to correct it. But no, it's within us that we have to correct the error. It is within us that that condition was given birth from. And learning how to correct the emotional energy on the inside, to release it from your consciousness, literally to breathe the negative emotional state out of the body, release it, and then draw in a vibration that you call love. Everyone has their own understanding and experience of what love is. And when you access that, you're accessing your highest conception of consciousness vibration that you can bring in at any given moment in time. He says, it's meant to be very simple. It literally is, as you think, so it shall be. So it's important to understand that you have choice over what you will think upon. He says thinking upon is where you put your attention. What you ever give your attention to, you are having a relationship with it. You are connecting to it. And if you're connecting to caffeine, or you're connecting to healthy foods, you're connecting to it. You're becoming emotionally involved with it. And the emotions that are involved are what allow that event to occur. And the minute you change the emotion within yourself in relation to anything, you begin to change what your body will or won't do. All right? When I was a serious alcoholic, whenever I get a drink, the sensation from the drink dominated my attention. My attention went to that whole sensation, and the net result is I would drink more, and I would drink more, and I would drink more, and then I'd black out and whatever. But my point is, whatever grabs your attention, you're feeding it. And you literally have to learn how to pull your awareness away from things that do not serve you and put them on things that do. And it is a practice. It takes time. If you're using these processes, it will slow things down. It will accelerate things down significantly, and it will slow the momentum of the old patterns rapidly, because now your focus is going on something different. Rather than being upset with somebody, you may choose to not be upset with them and say, I'm not going to choose to be upset. I'm going to choose to not be upset by this, and think about this in a different way. And then you have to get creative, because once you start letting go of the old stuff, once you start forgiving it, letting it go, then you got to become responsible for what is it you're going to create. Because we are creator beings, first and foremost. We were made to create, right? And we were made to uncreate things. So you can uncreate the old by letting them go. And literally that breath, you can exhale so much negativity out of your system in such a short time frame. If you get a person that's, like I said, I get people who will call me and they're suicidal, and literally in a few minutes of the conversation, they're completely changed just by altering what they're focusing upon and what they're doing with their body. Really, really simple. So this is an instrument for your creating your experience and your expression here, and you get to use it any way you want. You can use it to create joy, and you can use it to create sorrow. There's no rule. He says God doesn't place rules on any man to be a certain way, other than what he chooses. For that was the great gift that God gave us, was free will to choose, and choose our own experience, choose our own destiny. And that's pretty fascinating. So let's see if we got some time here. I got 11 minutes. If anybody would like to come on, just to do a little. And I apologize for the phone buzzing. If any of you guys heard that, I thought I'd shut that notification off. My apologies. I don't think I can edit that out, unfortunately. He says not to worry about it. Anybody who's totally centered in love would not be disturbed by that in the first place. That's wonderful, Chris. Yeah, and that's where you want to get to, that place in consciousness where even if somebody's screaming and yelling next to you, you're not caught up in that. You just don't get caught up in that. It's like that guy who came out, raised a chair over my head out in front of where I was having a tea out in front of our building. And he was going to smash me over the head with his chair, and I just stayed in a state of love. And that's what they said. You have to learn to stay in a state of love. if you want to experience that in the world, and you'll see it in the most wonderful ways. And that was a really powerful example for me to realize that no matter how enraged that person was, if I'm in that state of love, I can't attract that chair to hit my head, because that's an act of violence and aggression, and I was in a state of love. So what's occurring in our lives is an exact representation of what we're feeling consciously or subconsciously, and that's a gift. If you can start watching the things that go on around you that you don't like, it's because there's an emotion going on inside you that's not conscious, and you can release that. What is that emotion? Now that we're saying to you, notice what emotions, events cause you to feel. Well, once you can identify the emotion to certain events, you can start to release the emotion, let it go. Once you start doing that, then that event will get fewer and fewer and fewer, because you're not giving that emotional charge attention anymore. You're moving back to a state of love or joy or whatever state you're going to choose to generate in the moment. But that simple little meditation, do not underestimate its power to influence and affect your life in a very powerful way. Your breath is life. It's what allows this body to exist, this breath. And we have control over that. Think about that. We were given control over life. Not just over a living body, but we're given control over the life of this body. And also the life around us. We were given that to use or abuse any way we so choose. Let's see. Bonnie, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if you feel a reaction inside yourself, then yes, you've got emotions that are connected to that. But you may also be dealing with something that's intergenerational. In other words, you might have had a great grandfather that was a very angry or frustrated man, or grandmother that was frustrated and angry. And that anger was never overtly expressed, but got stored in the DNA system and got handed down through the system until somebody picked up that tendency and carries it out. But even things that are acquired genetically can be eliminated through this process. I challenge you to this. Make a conscious decision, no matter what that other person says or does, to have nothing but love and compassion for their because for anger to be present, there is pain. I don't care where the anger comes from or what's causing it, but underlying anger is pain. Same with fear. Underlying fear is often pain. And when you can have compassion for that and a great love for that person, where they're going through, you'll be amazed at what happens. Like I said, a man literally came up, was going to smash me over the head with a chair. And in a state of love, I remained in that state. And he literally just threw the chair somewhere else and walked away. I know this from personal experience. So you can even not even being in their presence, you can sit and imagine them surrounded by love and seeing and feeling the joy on their face and how that would make you feel. There's infinite ways in which we can alter the way energy functions in our life. Infinite number of potential ways we can alter the way energy functions in our life. Now, Master Jesus is saying, he said, there are no limitations. You can have anything, be anything, do anything, but you have to know that this is what you know, that it works, that what you think, so it shall be. I always add, what you think and feel, so shall it be. The two are inseparable. One cannot act without an emotion behind it. You can't. There's always an emotion behind an action. Always. No exceptions. Yep. So, any other questions? Cool. Okay. How are we doing time-wise? 14:54. Okay, so there'll be a second one we'll be doing on Thursday. I believe it will also be at 2 p.m. or 7 p.m. I'll have to check. I think it might be 7 or 8 p.m. But we'll be back again on the Thursday. Yeah, somebody said Metatron came in a little while ago and was talking to me about something that we're going to do. I don't know what it is. Sorry, if I seem to kind of mumble my words, because sometimes I'm half in listening. It's like, as you start to open up and you start to hear, it's like being at a stadium. You got millions of people around. You can hear them. they're aware. You're aware that they're there. It's like being in a stadium, and you can be with a friend, and you can hear your friend, and you can communicate with them. But all this other stuff's going on too, and you can learn to tune into different things. And that's what these courses are designed to help you tune into those things, those beings, those elements of consciousness that are here to support you, to sustain you, to help you to thrive, and to teach you how to connect with that, and work with these beings, because they love working with us. They love working with us. It's a joy for them. I'm not going to have time to bring anybody else on live today. I was hoping to bring somebody on and do a little transformational process. As Metatron said, it would be a really good idea to bring somebody on and actually change something. So we should do it in 4 minutes. Would anybody like to? Is there an emotional state that somebody's struggling with that they would like to get rid of? Would they be willing? Are you willing to come forward? If so, please send me a request. We'll go over another. I'll add a couple more minutes to this just to allow this, because the process is universal. The process for anybody to create or uncreate anything, it's universal. Right? It's the rules of God are for all men, not for some. Right? And as Master Jesus always said, do you not know that you can, as I can do, you can do greater? Oh, good, wonderful. Let's see who we got here. Exciting. Add. Okay, so I'm bringing Chris on, who I'm excited. Great. Haven't had Chris on for a while. It says it's still adding you. Energy in motion. Hi, Chris. I can't hear you. I presume you're putting your microphone on. Still no sound. Can you hear me? I can hear you now. And you
Awesome. Sorry, I didn't have these set up in
no worries.
time.
You've got you can hear me fine, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Chris, I think this would be really beneficial because Metatron said this would be something to try. So do you know what emotion it is that you would like to release more than any other emotion right now?
You mean the one to replace the negative one that I keep
Yeah,
coming
the one
across?
that's what is the label you give to that emotion?
I guess racism.
Okay. And what is that's the description, but what is the emotion behind it?
I would say it links to fear.
Okay.
Something in my childhood,
Okay.
I think.
Awesome. So when you think about the word racism, uh, where do you feel that fear in your body the most?
Heart
Okay.
chakra.
So put your left hand over your heart and just become aware of that feeling of racism in your heart. Just feel it there. And I want you to think this thought to it. Thank you for being a part of my life, but I no longer need you, even though I love you. Notice how it responds and describe that.
Seems to be dropping.
So again, turn your attention back to it and repeat that statement again. And notice the difference again and describe that.
It's really getting hot, and here's a lot of energy around me. Lots of energy. I can feel it now.
So I want you to think this thought to all that energy. I'm willing to love you even if I don't understand you. And notice how the energy changes again, and describe that.
It seems it's different. It's more
Okay.
cooperative.
Now, if you repeat this process with it, eventually you'll transmute all of that from the negative into the new positive. Can you feel that? And
Yeah.
it's the
Oh yeah.
reapplication of the process until it's done. And depending on the level of intensity you do it with, when I remember when I had to forgive the anger I had towards my stepfather, because my stepfather was a person I wanted to, at one point wanted to kill him, right? When I got to the place where I had to let go of that anger, I was literally in the state of total appreciation and gratitude for what he had given me, and of all the good things that I'd experienced with him. And I'd never considered that before. And the moment I did that, all of a sudden it shifted really fast. So the amount of intensity you put towards releasing that, and going into a state of gratitude for all these diverse cultures and people around the planet. If you go into a state of deep gratitude for what they contribute scientifically, mathematically, socially to us, it will create a shift. And then that shift will perpetuate itself. And you keep doing it over and over and over again until it's completely, you'll know when it's done because you'll feel it. Because the triggers that normally trigger that person from that culture, that person from that race or whatever, you won't feel the trigger anymore. You'll just look at them like another human being and say, wow, it's another human being. Do you understand? Well,
Yeah. That's what
I
I'm
really
looking for.
appreciate you stepping forward to doing this, Chris, because I know um, it's a powerful thing when people realize how easy it is for us to literally transform an emotional energy. Like Master Jesus says, it's that easy. Whatever you think, so it will be. It is so powerful. And as you already know, you're feeling them around you right now, which is really potent too.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and what,
I I was told when I asked that I was given fuel to this, and so that was one of the things I know in repeating the course I wanted to work on. Um, and to get images from my childhood, so it's definitely from my
yeah,
childhood. I dealt with sixth grade. I was pretty much tormented every day. I went home from school
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. So, but it's layers.
If you apply this process to it, again, remember, memories, emotions are just memories of the past in the last analysis. That's all. Emotions are just memories of our past. And when we can let that go, we are literally free to be what we choose to be in the present moment. But you have to have what's your go-to? What is love for you? What is joy for you? And anytime that old stuff comes up, just take your attention away from it, move it onto the new energy, and immediately you stop feeding it. It starts to die off. I want to thank you again for coming on, Chris, because I didn't want to go too long, but I want at least, Metron said at least one person. So thank you for stepping up.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome,
having
brother.
me. I definitely an improvement. Always.
You're welcome,
Thank you
brother.
so much.
We'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
Yes,
Till
sir.
next time.
I think you're going to need to exit out. It won't let me touch my X.
Okay.
Everybody for showing up. I'll take a look and see if there's any last minute questions here. Absolutely. Like I said, I've worked with in so many different situations that are just outside what my brain can normally handle, that they step in and they help me with. We are not bound by time and space as we've been taught to think we are. We are manifestors of time, space, and experience. And when you begin to recognize and take responsibility for that truth, then you can literally sit in a state of total love and grace for anybody, anywhere, anytime, and it will affect them. I challenge you, in the case of these children that you spoke of, that you go into a place before you even connect with them and just go into the most deeply loving, profound place, and let that be the dominant energy that you choose to interact with them from. And observe what changes occur in them. I remember a woman wanted to go, she was a lady I worked with many years ago, and she wanted to transfer from the Toronto District School Board to another school out in a small outlying town back then called Keswick, Ontario. And she wanted to go and work with autistic children there because the school she was leaving from the TDSB, she worked with autistic children, but she wanted less active lifetimes. So she went to go to the school the very first day, and she said it was an absolute shit show. The kids were absolutely insane. It was like for the whole, like every day for that first week was a nightmare for her. And she called and said, "Is there anything I can do with this?" And I said, "Absolutely." And what we've just suggested to you is what I suggested her. Literally before she even got out of bed in the morning, she saw the kids smiling and filled with joy, and she could see herself filled with joy, and she moved in that vibration, that feeling. And I said, and make certain from the moment you get up that you keep your attention on that feeling state. And then at the end of the day, you can call me and tell me how it went. At the end of the day, she called me up and said, it was the most amazing day in school I have ever had with my autistic students. Completely changed her reality, right? And all she had to do was move into a different emotional resource that created different behaviors, that sent off different vibrations. Autistic children are so sensitive to emotional currents. They're plugged into the divine collective like nobody's business. Very few people understand that. So they're highly sensitive to what we feel. So learning to feel and cultivate emotions that support and sustain the state of being you want to have and the life you want to have is central to being able to be the divine creator that you already are, but to be a deliberate creator and to have great influence on the lives of those that we love and care about and pass on people we pass on the street, right? Anyway, I want to say much love to everybody. Thank you for coming out. This is a very simple process. We can't make it much simpler than this. Jesus says, other than being at his level where you can just go and it's done. He said, other than that, you're well on the way. So much love to everybody, and I will see you guys again on Thursday. And if you got any other questions and comments, please leave them down in the comments section below. Bye for now.